Hi guys, today is September 1st, 2016, and July 1st was 4 years that I made the decision to transition, and October 1st will be 4 years since I got my first shot. Uh, a lot has happened in the last 5 months, trust me. Um, the 1st of April, since my husband Bill was not doing the yard work, the lawn work anymore, and I kept getting calls for lawn care, and since we had sold all the equipment when we lost the house, I bought a mower, a weed eater, and a trailer to haul the stuff. The business started beefing up, which is something I really needed, and it started gaining, but I was really hurting myself. My body just didn't like pushing power mower around and loading and unloading a trailer, and I was just getting injured a lot and feeling it. And the end of May, I had been hurting really bad, and all at once one day I just dropped to my knees. My left shoulder was killing me, my right elbow, and my low back just basically went out. And I have a place on the top of my left hip, the crest of my left hip, that just started hurting really, really bad. And the pain was going down through the glute and the hamstring and over to the knee, and even the right side down the calf was hurting. So I started seeing the chiropractor, and I saw him for 7 weeks, 1 to 2 times a week, and it just wasn't getting better. He told me that physically the rest of my body was in alignment and I was doing good, but they couldn't seem to fix this other thing, the hip and stuff. So I started seeing a massage therapist for deep massage, the kind that's used for like sports and athletes. Saw him for 2 weeks, and again it felt really nice, and it was helping a lot of other things in my body, but that hip and leg weren't getting well. So I went to my doctor, told her what was happening, and said, I really think I need an x-ray. We need to look and see what's going on with that hip, because that spot never moved. It just sat there all the time. It wasn't like, oh, it's in the general area. No, no, no. One spot right there. So she found an old compression fracture in my thoracic 12 vertebra, T12. And I think that came from an injury I had 2.5 years ago. I fell backwards onto some shelves and canned goods and really messed myself up. And they took an x-ray at that time, and the ribs were messed up pretty bad, and they really didn't see the fracture in the vertebra at that time, and now they can see it, and it's right where I'm hurting now is right where, just a little bit below where I messed up my ribs, and right where that T12 is. So all I'm thinking is something got stirred up and it's causing problems. The doctor has suggested or requested Medicaid to allow an MRI, and we're waiting for that to come through because Medicaid doesn't want to pay for anything. For starters, they make you wait 6 weeks. You have to hurt 6 weeks documented before they'll allow it. You have to have seen a massage, some kind of physical therapy, which I have documented that I saw that for 2 months. And so we're just waiting on that to get an MRI and see what else is going on. Maybe there's a pinched nerve there that's creating all the problems. With the lawn care, I realized I really couldn't do the work. I really didn't enjoy it. I like detail work in the beds and all that kind of stuff. Mowing lawns just didn't suit me. Bores me to death, and it just felt like work, which all the rest of the stuff never felt like work. So I sold the trailer, got rid of the mower. I've still got the weed eater. I'm still trying to sell it. But I got some of my money back on it. But something else I did is because I was using big power equipment now, I got liability insurance. And I had to get a bond because I was working for some businesses. And so I was paying for all of that now. And when I was hurting so bad, either busy working or hurting so bad, I hadn't been in the gym. I haven't been in the gym since about the 1st of April. So I was paying 5 months membership for that, plus the 5 months of liability insurance, and not being able to use anything. So I dropped my gym membership, I dropped the liability insurance, and that's going to save me a little over $80 a month. When I feel better, I will join a gym again, because right now I really can't use it. Let's see, what else? Oh, I'm finally gotten into a therapist, a counselor, and so I'm seeing him once a week, and I really like him. I found someone I really click with now, which is good. They talk about, in terms of depression, how various things can affect it. Very large things happen in your life, and they told me, instead of just one, I've got like a lot of them. So, it was the having to lose the house, having to get a divorce, losing my pussycat, the business going tanking, the injury, not being able to go to the gym, not being able to do physical things like walking or cycling or kayaking, so I'm sitting around the house bored to death, and the depression was just eating me up, even worse than before. So we're in the transgender, also the psychological part of transgender. They tell you once you get past your medical, getting your shot started, getting your surgeries, all of that, once all of that's done and it's just kind of moving along, that's all done with. And now what you're facing is the psychological part. And a lot of it has to do with society, how you and they interact, and there's just a lot of things that you are having to retrain yourself to deal with society. For instance, as a female, a female that liked men, I was allowed to flirt and touch them, and it was totally acceptable. And now, as a gay man, I can't flirt or touch with straight guys unless I know them and they know me, because I get I'm not one of those, what are you doing? And I forget, because I've been able to do it for 60 years, and all at once I can't. So I'm having to retrain myself to not do it, to be very careful. So that's a loss in my life. There's several things in my life that I'm having to retrain myself to fit into the box that I'm supposed to be in now as a gay man. So they'll tell you the psychological, the transitioning part of the psychological part is a very long, ongoing process. And also continuing to get outed, even though I'm disclosed to people. There's times that I really would just like to be seen as a guy. I would like to just blend in and not focus on the transgender. And so there's all that. There's someone walking up to you and say, "Don't I know you? And weren't you?" And no matter where we are, I'll say I'm really open to talking to them and say, "Yes, this is who I was before. this is what I am, and this is how it happened. This is what's going on. But it's stressful at the same time, having to deal with it. So that's what all the therapy is about. I think I mentioned that I joined a social group in the area called the SQUIM Senior Singles. It's singles 55 and over from the SQUIM Port Angeles area, and I've been going to their monthly luncheon meeting, and I've been going 3 times a month to, they have Mexican train dominoes. I love to play that. And then they have another game day, which is a lot of different kinds of board games and stuff. And so I've gotten interactive with a lot of people. And now, and recently, I got an invite. There was a new group starting up here in SQUIM for senior LGBT. So the man that was organizing it, he and I started talking by email, and it started getting more and more conversation, and we started talking on the phone, and then we finally met, went and had coffee, ended up spending 3 hours talking. We really clicked. It's both of us, just, it worked. And so we've been getting together and talking and emailing, and he works as a house pet sitter, dog walking, pet sitting, which is stuff I used to do. And he has a dog walk every morning at 9:45 right around the corner from my house. And I asked him, I says, may I join you on that? Because it's just a short little stroll. It's an old dog, and Gary has a problem with his left leg, and here I am gimping around, so we fit as the trio gimping down the street. And so I've been going to that every morning, and he and I have time to talk and visit, and what it does is it gets me out in the morning, gets me out of bed. The hardest part of my day is getting up in the morning, getting out of that bed. I tend to, or usually have, the first moment that I become conscious, I go into an anxiety attack. And it doesn't have to be anything in particular. It's just it's there, and everything, I start worrying about everything. And then the depression sets in, and I can't get out of bed. I get out of bed to use the bathroom, but I come right back to bed. But the thing that really gets me out is I get hungry. So that gets me out of bed. But now I set my clock, because I have to meet Gary. Have to, in terms of, I want to, and it's a good reason to get out. So I set my alarm every morning, and I get up and I get out, and that's getting me out of bed. And we talked a couple days ago. I was telling him how this really, really was helping me. It was really a big thing in my life. And he says, yeah, he says it's a big thing for me too. He says, because I get bored just walking this little dog, and he says, being out by myself a lot like that. And so we're really helpful to each other, and it's really we're blending, and there's so many things we have in common. It's interesting, and it's developing really nicely. Anyway, he started this group up, and we had our first meeting yesterday, and there was 22 of us there, plus there's another about 25 people that are interested. And one of the things we did was get a name for ourselves, and we came up with SQUIM Rainbow Seniors. The rainbow meaning LGBT, SQUIM meaning the town, and seniors being olders and elders. So that's all done, and we'll be setting up, we'll be having our meetings, and then we're going to set up various activities like my other group does. I want to start a Mexican train domino group. We're talking about different games we can play, different things we can go to. I suggested we do volunteering for different things to get our name out there in the community and show that we want to interact with the community and be helpful. And with all of my history of doing volunteer work and organizing these kinds of things, I volunteered for that because I know what to do. And there's various things like the dog park, a group of volunteers and the local law enforcement did a cleanup and repair of the dog agility training park. You know, things like they power washed the equipment and the buildings, and they repainted and all of that stuff. And the law enforcement paid for whatever equipment, and the city paid for it. So something like that, all we would have to do is just go in and give our time. And that gets us in the paper. It gets us known. It gets that we want to be part of the community. So everybody wants to do that, and I've volunteered to set those things up. So that's a good thing. I'm meeting new people, developing relationships finally, and that helps me, keeps my mind busy. Right now I'm semi-retired because I lost 4 of my biggest jobs. I had 4 of my 2-hour weekly jobs apiece. That was big money. It's gone. All I have left is a few little jobs. I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 weekly jobs, small weekly jobs, and 2 monthly jobs. So, lack of income now. And I had to spend a lot on the chiropractor and the massage therapist because Medicaid doesn't cover it. So a lot of bills and lack of income. Let's see, what was I talking about? Semi-retired. But I'm finding ways to fill my time now. And I'm actually enjoying being semi-retired. I like to say, I think I'm getting too used to this, but people have told me, you've got to do it. You've got to be able to transition into that. So that's what's been going on there. Like I said, the medical part, I'm doing great. I'm not going to show my chest because it looks pretty much the same. Like I've said before, I'll probably forget things I want to talk about until after. I started yoga when I was 12 years old, and I've maintained it 52 years. It's a daily thing I do, and it's really helping with me getting well from this injury. At first I couldn't do much. I had to modify it, and then little by little I'm getting better at it, being able to do it. And the way I got started with it was in junior high school. We had a family come and do a presentation. The whole school showed up, and 7th and 8th grade, and they did this presentation, and they did yoga and tumbling, which tumbling is something I'd started doing back when I was in elementary school, and I really enjoyed. And I was doing tumbling in junior high also. And it was like, wow, I want to do that. I want to do that yoga. And they sold this book, this pamphlet, which I bought, and I've still got it. And it talked about the family, and it showed all of the exercises and the poses and all that. And I just stayed with it all these years. So that's pretty cool. My chops. There's times I want to cut them off, but my hair grows too slow. taken me a long time to get them to this way. So I think, no, let's wait, and they're getting fluffier though. And my barber says, no, don't cut them off. Let them grow. They're going to be out to here. And I'm actually going to let them grow and see how far out I can let them grow till I get totally fed up with them. I'm going to be like the men back in the 17, 1800s that, you look at the old ones and they had massive hair, massive facial hair, huge facial hair. And so I'm just seeing where that takes me. I bemoaned the fact that I couldn't get back into my beadwork. And the other day when I went to the meeting, there was a gay man that had a beautiful little pink triangle classon metal jewelry, just tiny little thing. And as soon as I saw it on him, I recognized it as the symbol that was used in Germany and in the Holocaust to identify and mark gays, homosexuals, where they put Star of David on the Jews and they marked their houses and their territories with it. They put pink triangles, big pink triangles, on homosexuals to mark them. And as soon as I saw that, that's the first thing I thought of was the pink triangle. And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. Beautiful little pin. And anyway, I went online and I started researching beaded jewelry I can make for the transgender emblem, which is our one of the symbols is the butterfly, which is the metamorphosis from the caterpillar to the butterfly, and which is basically what transgender is. You're morphing from one gender to the other. It's a morphing thing. And also the colors, whereas rainbow is the colors for all lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex, whatever. There's different colors for the different groups. And for transgender, it is a pink, white, and blue. That means you were one gender, now the other. It talks about the transition. So I've been trying to design and develop some jewelry with the transgender colors and the butterfly design. And so all at once my beadwork sparked again. I had a goal now to work toward. And so I've started designing more jewelry now, things to do. So that's pretty cool. That had been out of my life for a long time, and now I've got the incentive to do it again. You can hear my voice getting gravelly. I still have problems with my voice. My vocal cords got messed up way back in the beginning when I started the testosterone because the doctor had me on too high a dosage for the first 6 months, and it can really mess your voice box and your vocal cords up, and that's what happened to me. Anyway, if I try to talk for too long, I get hoarse, it starts cracking. You go on, and I'm like talking like this and all that kind of stuff. So I bemoan that I don't have. I had a great voice before, a good singing voice, a good speaking voice, all of that. And I'd even thought about going into voice work, reading books on audio, that kind of stuff. And now I realize I'm probably not going to be able to do it because I can't consistently use my voice so it sounds good. But that's what all that's about. Trying to look at some other stuff. Can't see it. So I'm going to close for now. And I'll see you guys later. I'm going to turn this thing off. Bye-bye.